Russia once had a tax on beards. Tsar Peter the Great did not like the typical Russian custom of growing beards. After all, in modern Western Europe, men shave. Because he wanted his great nation to join the West, the Tsar decided to levy a tax on beards. All men except priests had to pay a maximum of 100 rubles annually, a small fortune. New York was only the second choice for the Statue of Liberty. The famous lady with the torch was not originally intended to end up in New York. When Frederick August Bartholdi, who came up with the idea of the Statue of Liberty, revealed his plan, the newly opened Suez Canal was chosen as the ideal place for the statue. The intention was that the statue would serve as a lighthouse. However, the British did not think that was a good idea. Then Bartholdi looked for another place, and that became Bedloes Island. It's now called the Liberty Island, just before New York. Eating an ice cream quickly will give you a headache. When you eat ice cream, the blood vessels in your mucous membrane shrink to protect your tissues from the cold. When you finish your ice cream, the cold is gone and they turn off again. By contracting and expanding regularly, blood vessels affect circulation in your face, which can cause headaches. Old Barbie dolls are poisonous. When the first Barbie doll came on the market in 1957, plastic was considered an industrial breakthrough. Plastic toys were then made of polyvinyl chloride, or PVC, but later, European studies showed that after 15 years, PVC starts to release a chemical that can disrupt the development of young children. By 2000, toy manufacturer Mattel stopped using petroleum-based plastic. But then the doll had already been sold in more than 140 countries. Cats can see in the dark. To see you need light. Cats have a tapetum lucidum in their eyes. The tapetum lucidum is a reflective layer of fabric that reflects light and allows cats to see quite well in very few light. But in the pitch dark they don't see anything anymore. Fun fact, because the tapetum lucidum reflects light, the eyes of cats and other nocturnal animals light up when you shine a flashlight on them. Corals are animals, not plants. Corals are very small animals, usually a few millimeters in size, that live in large colonies. And it is those colonies that we call corals. They feed themselves in two ways. On the one hand, they ingest nutrients through their symbiotic algae, and on the other because they absorb dissolvent substances in the water, such as plankton and carbohydrates from algae. The direwolves from Game of Thrones once really existed. It is not always myths that we see in adventurous television series. The direwolves from the hugely popular Game of Thrones series actually existed, roughly 1.89 million years ago. They were mainly found in North and South America. The carnivorous mammals were about 1.5 meters long, weighed between 50 and 79 kilos and had giant teeth. Game of Thrones portrayed how the animal must have once looked pretty accurately. Shoes are best bought in the afternoon. There are many things to think about when we buy shoes. The size, the manufacturer, the type of shoe and so on. But something that we are quite careless about is the time of purchase. Many people don't realize it, but it's best to buy your shoes in the late afternoon or early evening. The reason is simple. Your feet swell slowly during the day and are largest in the late afternoon. If you buy shoes in the morning, they may fit you perfectly, but in the afternoon they can start to pinch. People with blue eyes are mutants. According to a Danish study, blue eyes in humans were caused by a mutation that occurred about 10,000 years ago in the northwestern Black Sea region. All blue-eyed humans are descended from this one mutant. Moreover, the occurrence of such a mutation will be extremely rare. Blue eyes are a recessive trait. That means you have to get this trait from both mom and dad before you actually have blue eyes. Currently, only 10% of the world's population has blue eyes. Whether blue eyes will still occur in the future is open to question. There are studies that predict that the last blue-eyed person will be born in Scandinavia in the mid-21st century, but other studies conclude that blue eyes will always remain. 70,000 years ago, mankind almost became extinct. Humans would have gone extinct 70,000 years ago. The eruption of a supervolcano on the island of Sumatra affected large parts of the Earth climatically. Humans had a hard time. At one point there were barely 2,000 people left on the planet. Had there been an epidemic or another natural disaster, there would have been no more people. The rescue of man was due to the climatic conditions. The groups of survivors united and eventually left Africa in search for better areas to live.